to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item B on our agenda is the public comments. Are there any citizens to be heard today? Any citizens? Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Just wanted to say happy 70th to the Redevelopment Authority to Race. Saw it on social media, and 70 years is a long time. So I am thankful that you have continued to represent as best as possible in any ways of volunteering, of your time. What a huge commitment. What a huge commitment. And your team is at the Neighborhood Watch meetings and out in the community with taking the lead out to the different neighborhood organizations. So I am very thankful to see you out and about as you are throughout the community, and hopefully another 70 years ahead. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. Any other citizens to be heard? I would just like to add congratulations to Mr. Snippert and his staff for helping the authority remain viable. I'm old enough to remember the days from the 1960s and 70s, Model City days, when funding was pouring into the city, and the Redevelopment Authority was doing very large and continuous major projects. That has changed with funding has changed tremendously. So I think the projects that are being carried out now are still vitally important for the citizens in our neighborhoods. Then, so congratulations to the leadership team and the entire staff. I would just like to add, before we get into new business, I would just add the committee reports. We had a bylaws committee meeting. If Jeremy's unable to make it, I was just going to mention that so it gets entered into the record. So we'll do just a small committee report before item E, unfinished business. Besides that, is there any other additions to the agenda for today? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the agenda and the minutes from last meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye. Thank you. We'll move on to the item C, finance report. Absent our treasurer, I'll turn that over to Mr. Snippert.
All right. So in your packet is the financial statements, profit and loss, budget versus actual, all, and the check register, the bank register for the Redevelopment Authority. All reports out of Blackbaud. She apologized for not having these to you on Friday or earlier. They were working through with Matt from Capital Business Solutions late last week to clear up a few of the final details of the bank reconciliation reports. But so those are the first month of new reports for the board.
Okay, thank you. And those were in the board packets that were distributed today?
Yes.
So I picked up my own on Friday, so I didn't get the financials. Sorry. Miss Cynthia has been kind enough to print me so I can have a hard copy over the weekend so I can prepare better. So we're seeing these really for the first time this afternoon then?
Yes. On the budget versus actual? Yes. Yeah, there was a couple. And April's out today doing family things. So there was a couple questions I had when I looked at this morning after she worked over the weekend to clear a few things up. So just some things, and I think it's really one of those as we continue to move into using Blackbaud and that. I know she's, her and Corey have definitely had some ups and downs with it, and they're so we're working through it, and they're doing the best they can, but there's just some things in the transition that aren't lining up as they did before. But so if there are any questions, certainly feel free to shoot us an email, call with some questions, and we can get any answers that you have. So.
Okay. Since we're just seeing these right now, I don't know that we can really approve. I think we can certainly table these till the next meeting to give us a chance to take a look. Would that be okay? Or?
Yeah, the board only has to accept financials once a quarter. So.
Okay, so I would advise that then, so at our next meeting we could delve in and ask our treasurer to lead the conversation. Very good.
Would it be possible to get these emailed?
Absolutely.
Okay, great, thank you. Just because I want to limit the amount that I'm throwing in my my recycling bin, especially stuff that has numbers in it.
Oh. Yeah. All right, so we'll then move on to item D, unless there's any other questions or observations on the financials, but I think we'll deal, more effectively next meeting when we get a chance to review. And thank April for us and the entire staff for moving this along. Many of us have been involved in software integrations, and we all know when a software person says the transition is going to be seamless to run for the hills. Fortunately, we haven't used that word, but I know that there's a lot of moving parts with it.
We've certainly come to find that there's a big difference between the salesman and the implementation team.
We understand that, but we congratulate everybody for getting us to this point. It's been.
They look so much cleaner.
Yeah, it's been 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost exactly. Yeah, I was at the Kentucky Housing Conference when we first decided to, I think, move away from QuickBooks.
Yeah.
And then Kentucky Housing Conference is coming up next week, so 2 years exactly.
It has been 2 years, so hats off to the groups. Okay, moving on to item D, and that would be, we start off with the solicitor's report, and we welcome Mr. Sundberg.
Good afternoon, Board. It's nice to be here.
Good afternoon.
Happy birthday to everybody. Here we go. You will notice the report's getting shorter. We are getting things done and off the list. 314 Walnut Street, rehabilitation has been in process. Again, shout out to Kyle and following to make sure that everything is done as expected as part of that rehabilitation process. And underlying this was a title issue that I've been working through that we've been able to resolve so that when that rehabilitation is done, we are then able to relinquish the property back, but we can't relinquish it back to the 4 dead people.
No.
I was able to resolve a title issue so that it is going to the rightful heir, so that the proper entity is owning the property, so that if they want to ultimately sell it, that they can do that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So that was a huge undertaking, and glad that we were able to get that done. Number 2 is one that should have come off that. We received a deed in lieu of condemnation. The resolution was previously approved, signed, and that is recorded. So 2631 Van Buren will definitely be off the list for next month. Following in the same stead is 1012 and 1014 West 9th Street. We have worked out, just compensation has been made, and there's a resolution for the board to address, so that deed will be filed later this week. 933 East 5th Street. That's in process. We're still hoping to expedite this. There was a title issue with regard to this property as well. The prior owner had encumbered this property with a bond for a family member who misstep somewhere along the way, so that it was encumbered, an encumbrance on the property. Again, we have been successful in forging relationships with the various offices at the courthouse and the water department and as such. So that bond has long expired, and we've had it removed from the record. So that's, again, getting clear title so that we can ultimately get this into either a third party or whatever we need to do to get that property taken care of now that it's free and clear. I'm going to bring your attention again to number 5. We know the property well. There was a Board of View hearing, and they came back with a 0 value on that. That has been appealed. There will be a hearing in front of Judge Piccinini. I will be preparing for that hearing. It's a very limited issue, because again, there are very limited issues on this. But the appeal was founded that the wrong measure of damages was used by the Board of Viewers. No, it wasn't. But again, we're going to let the judge determine exactly what that issue is. And there are options for measures of damages. The correct measure of damage was used in this. I'm confident that the finding from the judge will confirm that. But we're going through that process. Okay. So just, unfortunately, that won't come off our list here very shortly here, but we're going to keep pushing forward. Number 6 is always a good situation. These are anticipated transactions that are coming up. There is a lien issue that I'm convinced, again, is going to be cleared on 2414 German Street. And we're working, and again, Aaron and his staff has a wonderful working relationship with City Hall here to address the back due taxes. It takes a little bit. It's a number of step process. So when those are resolved, we're going to be able to close on those. And then finally, number 7, I'm probably going to take that off the list. Again, we had received an inquiry from the county that they were interested in these lots. And that's fine, but they have to go through a process for them to be approved and to be able to accept those. I've never been advised as to where that process is. So we stand ready when the county comes to us and brings their resolutions that they've okayed it, that they're ready to purchase it. We stand ready to finalize that transaction. But without knowing where they are with that, I don't want to keep putting that on the agenda. It may resurrect itself and say, hey, look, to refresh your recollection maybe in March or April, hey, look, we're going to close next month on these. But I'm not going to add it to the agenda every month. We just don't know where they are and where they're going, and most importantly, what type of a time frame they're on.
Is that the lot that also there was a backup offer as well to create a park? Or am I getting myself mixed up?
So Land Bank owns a lot and Redevelopment Authority owns a lot.
Okay.
Yes.
Both had offers submitted by the county.
Okay.
I wasn't aware of a second offer.
Land Bank, you weren't here that meeting 2 months ago.
So is that Erie Black Wall Street? I think
Yes.
that was maybe interested in a community park.
Yes, to do a
and so
community
on,
park on the Land Bank lot.
Okay.
Right. So there's maybe a backup that it could be considered.
Yeah, it'll be on the agenda for next month or next week.
Okay.
And I know that we don't particularly want to promote parks, but if someone else is willing to maintain it, it could reduce operating costs for either the two organizations then.
And it might very well be a good opportunity for us to drag the feet to the fire going, hey, look, we've got a backup offer that we've got to act on. If they have their offer in place, I'd be happy to do that as well. And I'm not going to necessarily play one off of the other, but hey, this is a situation. We have a viable offer. We're going to go with it. So there you have it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
If there's any questions, certainly let me know. Thank you.
Any questions? Hearing none, thank you for your report. So we'll be down to half a page next month? I remember when they were almost 3 pages. I remember that. So very good. Appreciate that, and good work for the staff and our solicitor. Thank you, and moving on to Mr. Snippert's report then.
All right, thank you. Not a lot going on. A lot of the main parts were in the middle of July. I've been meeting with Dusty Dennis, the Executive Director of the Housing Authority, to see how the Redevelopment Authority and the Housing Authority can work together on several initiatives and that they're working on. So we have another meeting coming up this week. We're going to continue to discuss how our lead hazard control program can work with them and their Section 8 housing choice voucher program, and then see if we can kind of get some stuff going there as far as regulations and just compliance for lead hazards in those units. We had a meeting with Public Works, City Solicitor's Office, Mayor's Office on the 16th to discuss illegal dumping. The Redevelopment Authority owns, between the Redevelopment Authority and Land Bank, almost 300 vacant lots across the city of Erie, and we see a substantial amount of dumping, and it's something that Tracy hears all the time at the community meetings and neighborhood watch meetings. And so really, certainly tires and electronics are the big things that we see. And so we held a good discussion. Didn't really come out of it with anything, but we have some thoughts and ideas as far as, how maybe, as the ENGP, we can look to secure some grants to help the city provide more tire recycling days or whatever that would look like. So, but essentially it was, city collects tires 1 day a year, we collect them 363 days a year, so when the city's not collecting them, we collect them. So
Aaron, sorry,
yeah.
So basically Public Works said, we'll do it, you just need to find the money to pay us to more or less do our job, because, you're not part of the city, but you're an extension of the city.
Yes. Well, so yeah, it was more that they don't have the manpower or the funding to pick up the tires and take them to the municipal garage. They already have 2 trailers full of tires and a garage full of tires, and they don't have the ability to remove them. So
illegal dumping on a city park, though, they would do it.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like Public Works. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. We had the pre-construction meeting on the East Bayfront Greenway Trail on the 17th. September 3rd. September 3rd is going to be our groundbreaking at 2 p.m. So that calendar invite will be going out. We'll be doing that at the park. They should be starting the park shortly after there. The majority of it should be wrapped up before the snow flies, as long as it holds off till Thanksgiving. They'll just, some plantings may be delayed until spring, so that way they don't die over the winter. That's about the most of it. The UPMC Health Plan Neighborhood Center over on East Avenue, attended the ribbon cutting of that, and Holly was there last Tuesday as our first day of office space within that facility, and so the Redevelopment Authority committed early on to having staff there at least 1 day a week to have a presence for the community and provide our information and resources to them. Or to those residents, along with all the other organizations that are sharing that space. So it's UPMC Health Plan's second neighborhood center. So it's pretty proud that it's in Erie and that we can be part of that. So that's my report.
Okay. Questions? Okay. Moving on. Thank you, Mr. Snippert. We're going to insert here just committee reports, and I just want to mention Mr. Tillman's not here, but he chairs our governance committee, and we had Aaron, Jeremy, and I had a brief meeting to review bylaw changes and so on, so that's in the works. We probably will have some recommendations ready maybe for our September meeting. We'll have those emailed out in advance with any highlights and so on, and receive input before we meet next time then. But it's been about 10 years since we've done that, and best practices is that normally between 3 years, preferably 5 years is a good practice. So we're need to get ourselves caught up. Related to that slightly is that Aaron and Tracy and I were at a civics or a state ethics meeting, and we were reminded about the need that the board has to fill out a state-issued financial disclosure form, and we were reminded about that. I had done a couple of those early on in my career. I'm sure you have as well. So we would ask Mr. Snipper to maybe circulate those next couple of weeks. The advice we got was to complete the form, submit it, don't backdate it, because they're due generally May 1st of each year. I missed that. I apologize. I should have been on top of that, but we'll get those distributed. But as public officials, we are bound to do so. Not the end of the world that they haven't been done, but we'll want to be brought up to speed on that. And I also wanted to give a plug, if I may, for the Erie Neighborhood Growth Partnership. Tomorrow is Erie Gives. The Erie ENGP is the authority's nonprofit. Andy serves as our liaison. And I understand that there will be some public social media posts tonight and tomorrow to encourage folks for Erie Gives. So when you're considering your charitable contributions tomorrow, we would ask that you can consider our nonprofit, the Erie Neighborhood Growth Partnership, ENGP, for some community engagement and the scholarship. Any other committee reports or any other members want to weigh in? Hearing none, we'll move right along into unfinished business. We have, this is our annual meeting, and at our annual meeting we elect our officers. I will not be seeking additional term as chair. I term out next March, and it doesn't seem to be appropriate that I seek that office, because otherwise you'd end up with a special election next March and you don't want to get involved in all that sort of thing. So I will be stepping down as chair, and would entertain a motion for someone to either self-nominate or nominate somebody as chair. And don't we just nominate the guy who's not here? Is that how that works? Has anybody had a conversation? I did not have a conversation with Jeremy to see if he would accept that. Aaron, what's your feeling?
I don't know.
In a perfect world, we would have had that conversation. Do we feel comfortable about that nomination? Unless somebody else wants to step forward.
I'm good. I mean, I guess if he's like adamantly against it, we would just do a special election in a future meeting to get him out.
I suppose. I'm just trying to quickly think through what would be the protocol. I suppose we can nominate to keep the current officers in their current positions, and keep the chair position open pending next meeting. I suppose we could do that to be on the safest side. I just really haven't thought through this enough to... Any ideas? Is there a recommendation from any of the other members?
Well, I thought Jeremy had said that he was open to being nominated.
Yeah, and he was been vice chair with the, and the, good point, and the anticipation is the vice chair is the heir apparent to the chair, so I like the way you think. So is that a motion to nominate Jeremy as chair?
Sure. Yeah.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a chair. Ethan, would you like to remain as treasurer?
Yes.
And Andy, would you, let's see, who would like to be vice chair then, with the anticipation that that person may become chair in the future? Not guaranteed, but that's the anticipation. So maybe we
I'm happy to throw my hat in the ring then for vice chair instead.
okay. All right, is that okay? So that's a self-nomination. Is there a second to the self-nomination then? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Perfect. Let's see, so that leaves, so we have chair, we've got a vice chair. Mr. Nelson has agreed to remain as secretary, is that still correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And Cynthia, that's okay with you, right? Okay. So we have a nomination for Mr. Nelson as secretary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Perfect. Andy, do you want to remain as assistant secretary treasurer, or would would that be okay? And I will be happy to become treasurer then, if that works out. Perfecto. All right, so we have a motion to assign Andy keep as Assistant Secretary Treasurer, and myself as Treasurer. Is there a second for that motion?
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. We have a slate. Sorry, not the cleanest way of handling it, but I think it could be recovered. Great. Any acceptance speeches that we have? No. Thank you. And thanks for running a clean election, too. Okay, excellent. So we have an agenda item for meeting schedule. I don't know that I saw the schedule.
I didn't include it, and so, because I know we had the discussion at the meeting back a couple months ago when we met about finding alternate locations, and so I know, and if Cynthia wants to put in her input as far as the work she did to try to find alternate locations outside of here, I know, certainly there's a lot of discussion, and they don't really exist, and so it's a matter of, trying to find that location that would house us 12 months out of the year at the same time, it's hard. It's hard to find. So, so I just kind of, we don't really have to solidify the schedule until September. Usually the city wants to know by the end of September so they can put it on the calendar so they can get it printed. So it's, really, second Monday of every month is certainly what we've been doing. We're at 3:30 now. We can schedule to have it in council chambers second Monday of every month at 3:30, or we can wait until next month and try to explore additional options if anybody has any. But at this point, I don't feel we have any other options as far as a meeting location that would accommodate us every month at the same time.
So the time of day, I mean, some of us have not great flexibility sometimes, and 3:30 is much better than 3 o'clock. And I know Andy has an evening commitment sometimes, so we can't go too late. So 3:30 is still an okay time?
I'm okay with it.
Okay, so the time's probably okay. This location is fine. It's a little tough sometimes to see everyone, but absent another location, I think that we'll stay here unless somebody offers us a nice conference room in a law firm or someplace that's a little more intimate for certain meetings. And I know sometimes when you're working on specific projects, it's good to have kind of a more of an intimate experience. But for just general public meetings, this is fine. So I think for the ease and convenience of the staff who work so hard to keep us together, we'll continue our routine meetings here, 3:30, second Monday of the month. We may occasionally have a study session elsewhere, which I think is helpful then. And just as long as we have that flexibility, I think we're good to go. Does that make you happy?
Very happy.
Okay. If you're happy, I'm happy. I get the logistics because I've been helping out a little bit too, and sometimes it's hard to get everything. So. But we will add the valet parking, though. That will be a big help. Right?
I'll talk to JD in the morning about that.
Yeah, so just slide right in, and
So is there a motion for the second Monday of every month at 3:30 in council chambers for 2026?
Second.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Next on our agenda is the housing rehabilitation report.
Good afternoon, board. So, being it's the annual meeting, I thought I'd give you information in a slightly different format. So you have your standard rehab report like every month. Feel free to review that at your leisure. But the additional page, I give you these numbers every month, and it's kind of in a vacuum because it doesn't really give you context of progress, right? So I thought it would be helpful for y'all to see what those numbers actually mean and where are we according to what our plans and goals and benchmarks are for things. And I'm pleased to show you and tell you that we're ahead of schedule on pretty much everything. The two biggest columns to look at is the number plus or minus to 2025 benchmark goal and the number plus or minus toward total program goal. So for 2025, every single one of them is either plus or at least at where we plan to be at this point of the year. And the majority of them are already over their total program goal, or very, very close to, and still right on pace to exceed their goals exactly when they should. So I thought that might make you feel good to know that we're not just giving you numbers to give you numbers, but we're actually kind of crushing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way this is set up here too, this is kind of reflective of our job board, the way we keep track of things, which is, where they're all actually at in the progress. So you can see ones that are under contract, which is an important number because those are ones that are going to be getting underway soon for actual work.
And I'm just kind of thinking out loud, since the authority is doing more lead remediation, so on, are we seeing, is it even possible to even know if there's any reduction in the amount of medical-related issues that might happen to families? I mean, I don't even know how you would count or calculate that then.
We do some data sharing with the health department.
Okay.
It has to be kind of generic because, some of their stuff is
Sure.
protected. What we actually know is because rates have increased, testing rates have increased of both children and houses, the numbers have actually gone up a little bit, but that's not to be unexpected.
Sure, because you're more reporting that's
Yeah,
happening.
and the thing is, I am always getting more and more reports of lead poison kids that we need to follow up with, which is actually a weird way to say a good thing, because we're getting reports now from more outlets, which means that we have more pediatricians that are testing for it now. We have more other groups that are testing for it or aware of it and that are recommending. So I think overall that's a net positive.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we know the testing rate of kids has only been about 20% statewide historically. So unfortunately, it's going to be several decades yet probably before we see a real, true medical impact, overall, because the testing mandates just aren't there yet.
Yeah, and I suppose the success is increasing awareness of families.
Yes.
So they're willing to test, and so that in itself is a success.
Yeah, I think that our outreach has been effective. The consistent messaging of the authority over the many, many years they've been having the lead grant. It has its own sort of brand recognition now, I think. But the more outlets are talking about it, whether it's doctors' offices or WIC or the health department or whoever, it's kind of hitting home with more people like, oh, maybe this actually is pretty serious. It's not just a thing I heard in passing. I'm hearing it from multiple outlets now. And so more people are interested in doing something about it, and that's encouraging. And we have participation from some new landlords, which is extra encouraging.
Yeah.
So I've already gotten 5 new landlords, I think, this year that have expressed interest or are already actively applying, so that's very, very good news. But we did just close out our old lead grant. Well, we're working on the closeout, but we just finished the final project under it. We actually went 1 over benchmark on that, and we've already got 13 rolling for the new one, so moving right along.
Okay. Any questions? Well, thank you for the work and everything, and keep us apprised.
So I thought some of the notes gives you a little more comprehensive idea of
Yeah.
where all the grants actually stand. So everybody's doing a phenomenal job moving projects along, is what all that is to say.
Well, not necessarily most glamorous, but certainly very important.
What's that?
May not be the most high-profile glamorous, but certainly very important to keep our neighborhoods and our children safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, let's see. So next, if we get this correct, next we have our appointment to the Erie Land Bank.
Yes.
Just want to make sure I wasn't falling behind in the resolutions here. So we had 3 candidates step forward to be the Redevelopment Authority's appointee to the Erie Land Bank, which was great. I mean, and three excellent candidates. Several of us took an afternoon and interviewed 3 candidates, and we selected a candidate which we felt that was would complement the other 4 members. All were highly skilled. The successful Dana Dickerson possessed some skills that we thought was super important to complement the other 4 members, so that the land bank acts is administered as a team. So we'd like to put her name forward, and we have a resolution in our packages. Before we accept the resolution, any questions on our process or the candidates? I was going to say the other 2 candidates we're keeping in our back pocket for future appointees, either to the land bank or to this board as well. They were, again, they presented very well, and it's exciting to see that citizens are willing to come forward and volunteer to serve on the boards here. So we won't let them run away. We will consider them for upcoming open seats coming forward then. So it was good to spend a few minutes to interview. In this case, for the Erie Land Bank, it's really the authority's appointment. So is there a motion to accept the nomination for Dana Dickerson to be our representative to the Erie Land Bank? Andy, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Thank you. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Any opposed or abstained? No, hearing none. We're good. So, very good. And you'll notify Mr. Snippert the successful candidates and the other candidates?
Yes, I talked to them all last week, and so, yeah.
Okay. And the other 2 are willing to
Yep,
keep in the mix?
Yeah, they said let them know if they,
Perfect.
Yeah.
I was very, very pleased. In this day and age of having volunteers step forward is harder and harder, but to have high-quality candidates, very pleased.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the property report now.
All right, so in front of you is the property report for the Redevelopment Authority activities from January 1st to July 31st. Property acquisition, 4 properties have entered the inventory, and several have been sold. As far as blighted properties in this first part of the year, we're pretty flat. 23 properties have been blighted and 23 properties have been rescinded. So current blighted property list sits at 279 active properties, 61 of which are under some level of intervention by the Redevelopment Authority or the Land Bank. So still working with code enforcement to keep pushing and getting more properties on that list so that we have inventory to acquire. And then there's associated resolution for the acceptance of that report.
Maybe for a future meeting, we can kind of take a look at inventory trends if the authority is accumulating more properties or if our list of available properties is shrunk. That would be interesting to kind of see, because I would interpret that as moving properties back into tax paying or useful life, as opposed to hanging around on our lists and so on. I remember back in the day where there was maybe 50, 80, 100 properties at one point, and it seems like that list has shrunk a great deal. So
yeah, I can pull that information together for the board.
Just kind of see year after year, last 5 years, what the inventory looks like then.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
There's a resolution for that.
We have a resolution.
Yeah.
Is there a resolution or a motion to accept the resolution to accept the property report activity as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. And then finally, we have a property acquisition of 1012, 1014 West 19th Street, which looks like it's an industrial property with a garage on it.
Yes. Yes, this was the 2 parcels of the 5 that the land bank had requested that the redevelopment authority acquire on their behalf. And during the part of that process, in working with Gene and his team, we were able to essentially get a deed in lieu of condemnation, provide the just compensation to the owner, and acquire that deed to transfer ownership to the redevelopment authority. So helps us out and allows us to get things moving a little bit faster on that property, so we can prepare to do a phase one and move into that step of the process.
Okay. Any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the resolution as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Is there any other business to become before the authority this afternoon? I want to thank Cynthia and her colleagues for providing us with a little fun today. We appreciate that. I also want to thank the team who put together the various social media posts and so on. There's an interesting slideshow on showing many historic photographs, and maybe we circulate those, send those out, those links via email. Then very, very interesting to look at 70 years worth of progress. So so if you haven't seen those, I would ask Aaron to circulate those.
Yeah,
to take a
absolutely.
look at them. So.
And I did try to find the model of city and nobody knows.
Nobody knows, and
I tried.
And maybe maybe I'm dreaming that, but which I've done before. So maybe that doesn't exist, but I kind of thought it did, but because I have this vision of Mayor Tullio kind of standing over it with the model being displayed in the lobby here at City Hall. But
And what was it? A model?
I have a 3D model of what downtown Erie could have looked like. Some of it was actually built, some of it wasn't. But it kind of looked like the Jetsons a little bit, very futuristic.
Gotta find that.
We got to find that if it exists.
One thing, I want to congratulate Luann Martino, who retired from the Redevelopment Authority. Her last day was last week, so she retired. She's going to stay on. She was our risk assessor for several years, so she's going to stay on kind of on a part-time basis to help with risk assessments while we transition in someone else into that role and position. And then I also want to acknowledge Tracy, who is leaving us. Her last day will be Friday. Unfortunately, on our part, but fortunately for her, she's exploring other opportunities and that to progress her career. She's some big shoes to fill. She has definitely helped us tremendously engage with the neighborhood groups and organizations and get a face out there and attend numerous and countless evening meetings and such, and flex her schedule to accommodate that. So we certainly appreciate her time and her service to the Redevelopment Authority, and she's going to be greatly missed. So.
Okay.
It's a big loss for the authority. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your service.
So before we adjourn, I just want to announce that we have the tour of Ironworks Square immediately following the meeting. We're to report to the west parking lot, which is, I think, off of 12th Street. Mm-hmm. Okay. So maybe our valet can take us, or did we get a bus? I don't know. Did we get a
Party bus.
Party bus? So there. So it's kind of cool to see that. I've seen some schematics and so on, but we have a loan, an important loan that we're considering. So I think that kind of helps put things in context. So hopefully we can all stop there for 10 or 15 minutes and then adjourn later on for the time. For those who have time to permit, I'll buy a beverage at a neighboring establishment, and we'll keep the party going.
All right.
With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Everybody, appreciate your time.